Hey there, friends. In the last couple of days, we've seen some Senate committee hearings where Mark Zuckerberg and other members of the social media giants out there have been getting questioned about various things, more specifically in this case about children being bullied, child pornography, and things like that. And again, this a very wide scope of things. Now, I see a lot of people applauding Senator Hawley, especially in this type of exchange right here. And let me let you watch the exchange first.
So let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that you have all gone through. It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invest so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
Okay, guys. I am no friend of and fan of Mark Zuckerberg, never have been. I think that his platform is a disgusting, very far left-leaning platform. It censors, obviously, us, Second Amendment people. It absolutely censors us, and it censors conservative voice of any kind. It also propagated a lot of the stuff out there about the COVID-19 lies. It talked about how masks were effective when they were not effective. It talked about how the vaccine would prevent you from getting COVID when that was a lie. They still talk about how effective the vaccine is, even though we know that it is not. So the Facebook people have pushed a lot of misinformation, a lot of lies, and things that they don't agree with, like Second Amendment related stuff, they simply omit and say that it doesn't meet their community guidelines. But guess what? They can do that. They are a private company. They are not and should not be regulated by the federal government. So we can complain all we want, and I will continue to, right? But we can complain all we want about how they handle things and how wacky far left they are, but it is their business. I get that. I understand that. Am I happy with it? No. I would love to see them be fair and unbiased and treat everybody the same way. Treat either everybody as harshly as you treat me, or treat everybody as nicely as you treat them. But nevertheless, again, I have to repeat, that is their platform. They built it, they own it, it's theirs. I do not think the government should have a hand in this. No. Am I supporting child pornography or whatever? No. Let me explain this to you. Child pornography is illegal. If Facebook has a hand in allowing child pornography or child trafficking, then lock them up, right? This could easily be applied, this same rhetoric, to the gun industry. In fact, it is almost on a daily basis. Joe Biden is wanting to regulate the firearms industry even more than what they already do. There already is a regulatory agency in the ATF who already harasses honest, law-abiding Americans every single day. So they already have that. I don't think that we should sit back as constitutionalists and Second Amendment rights people and say, well, just because we get harassed, everybody else should too. No, I don't look at things like that. Now, I am guided by fairness. Let me explain that. I do feel like everybody should be treated the same way. That means undoing the ATF and not regulating us at all. I do not think it should be regulated.
Mr. Zuckerberg, why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
Well,
are
try this
serious
again.
issues.
Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims?
Whenever Hawley says your product is killing people, that is an incorrect statement. That is no different than saying let's say we're talking to CMMG, friends of mine in the industry who make very good rifles. That's no different than somebody using a CMMG rifle in some kind of a heinous crime and Josh Hawley sitting up there saying, your product is killing people. No, it's not. Not one of these people Josh Hawley is talking about has died as a result of this product of Facebook. That is not the case. So why are we calling for regulation of it? Oh, you want to know what the real problem is? There's accountability, and I don't mean holding a 10-year-old accountable. Parents, how many times do we constantly duck and dive from responsibilities that parents have out there? Don't give me this crap parents are working 10-hour days and 2 jobs at a time. Look, if you cannot manage your children, if you cannot parent your children, don't have them. Do not have them. If I need to explain to you how it came about that you had a child, I can do that on another channel because I'll no doubt get censored here. But if I need to explain the birds and the bees, I'm happy to do that. You took on that responsibility. Parent your children. Manage your children. Check on your children. Look and see what they're doing. Don't let your children pretend to be adults. Don't let your children have online conversations with adults. When you see your children getting bullied, you should step in and say something. Oh, you didn't see them getting bullied, so you didn't check in on them? It's your fault. If you're allowing a 10, 12, 13, I don't care, 15-year-old to have their own account on Facebook and you don't see any of what's going on, you're not parenting right. I'm sorry. It is not an invasion of privacy. That is your child. You are responsible for that child's actions until they leave your nest. It is not an invasion of privacy. It is your duty and your responsibility. Ask all these parents in this room that are showing pictures of their children who have committed suicide or been killed by child predators. Ask them if they had it to do all over again, would they now, because they clearly weren't, would they now be willing to oversee and get more involved in their child's life? Would they now be more willing to know the passwords and know how to get into their child's direct messages on Facebook and any other way that these people are communicating? They had to do all over again and had a second chance. Would they treat it any differently? We know better. Our brains are fully developed. A 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, their brain is in the process of being developed. They can very easily be manipulated by other people. And again, the whole bullying thing where these teenage girls, and boys too, the girls are mostly doing it, are piling onto one person. Somebody has to have seen that. It's not just the one parent whose child is being bullied. What about all the other ones who are bullying them? Do you not see what they're telling this child? The things, how they're saying she's ugly and nobody likes her and all this kind of stuff, and that they're beating her down online? Come on, man. We as parents have a responsibility. And as Americans, part of that same responsibility is not welcoming government intrusion. I will never ask for the government to govern me harder. And that's what this Republican senator, and I like some of the stuff Josh Hawley says, and you can see there's Ted Cruz sitting right next to him. I like a lot of the stuff Ted has to say. But these people are begging Zuckerberg, in essence, to say, you need to do this because this is your responsibility. And this is a quasi way of the next step being, hey, the government needs to regulate you. That's why they're holding these hearings. They're not just holding these hearings to try to get Zuckerberg to do something. They're doing this as a stepping stone to now they're going to create, at some point they will, I know that they will, they're going to create some kind of an agency that will oversee and regulate these social media people. Now, what is that going to do for everybody else? You know what it does indirectly? It makes people think that the government does have a responsibility to regulate every single phase of your life. What next? What you eat? We already have an FDA that lies to you. So what now? We are going to have an FDA that mandates what you eat? We have to be very careful about the things that we applaud just because folks who are supposed to be on our side are the ones pushing for it. I will never agree with begging for daddy government to govern me harder. We have to be careful what we sit here and cheer and applaud sometimes.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
He's so horrible!